Hey, how's it going? Today we're gonna play some games with this Klawf Cramorant deck that Stephen Bates was able to start out 702 with at the Indianapolis Regionals. This is a pretty wild deck, and 702 is a really good start. So basically we got Klawf and Cramorant are the main attackers. Klawf for double colorless says 30 damage plus 160 more damage if this Pokemon is affected by a special condition. And Cramorant, of course, does 110 for free if we have 4 or more cards in the Lost Zone. So we're able to do the 110 attack and use Crisis Punch on our Cramorants. And we have Colress and 4 Lost Vacuum to build that up. 3/3 Bibarel to draw. Sneasler and Cobalion to add extra damage. Sneasler with poison because the Brute Bonnet is going to be the way that we're going to poison our Klawf to get the extra damage. This deck is pretty cool. It's pretty wild. I can't believe it started 702, and after playing with it, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. It's actually like pretty cool and pretty good. It's got a lot of lines to win games. The Crisis Punch, you get to use it every single match, which is nice. But that's about it, so let's get into the games. Alright, so this game I chose to go second. I'm not really sure what the better option is, first or second. Like, you could really justify either or. You get to attack first going second, but going first you get to set up your Bibarel and stuff before, like, I don't know, you just get to set your stuff up quicker, I guess. But Trekking Shoes, I'm thinking about taking the Lost Vacuum because I was like, oh, I can attack with Cram quicker, but I don't have a Colress in my hand, so that makes no sense. This is kind of an unfortunate start. The only Pokemon that I can put down right now is Klawf, because the Ting-Lu is going to shut off any of my ability Pokemon. And I'm fine to leave Bidoof in the active spot, luckily, because he didn't get any energy on his guys last turn, so he's not going to be knocking out my Bidoof, and I'm assuming that Hawlucha is the way to put damage counters in play at this point, so I'm thinking my Bidoof's safe in the active. But then he benches an Iron Valiant, so I'm like, alright, he could get damage on my Bidoof no matter where it's at. That's kind of unfortunate, but just goes for the Turbo Energize, which is kind of cool, like, in the Ting-Lu deck, I guess, but I just don't think that the problem with Ting-Lu was ever, like, not being able to get energy in play. Like, that was part of the problem, but it's just overall it's a weak Pokemon. The caveat where it doesn't shut off EXs, like, hurts so much. And then you can just get around the ability lock quite easy. But I Artazon, take a look through my deck, get my Brute Bonnet. I do get Bibarel, which is nice. And I can just get another Klawf and an Ultra Ball or the Colress. I'm not really sure which one is better there. I'm kind of thinking Ultra Ball because I can keep thinning out my hand, but Colress is a way to draw for next turn. So I do go with the Ultra Ball. I think I should have taken the Colress probably. Yeah, at this point I was thinking that I should Ultra Ball for the Sneasler and it would help me get a knockout. Like, I don't know, I just thought the math was different. But the Sneasler is kind of pointless right here, so that's like an unfortunate thing that happened. I should have just grabbed Colress and just switched into the Klawf and hit into it for damage. But I messed that up. But I Prime Catcher up the other Ting-Lu to just get a hit in on the one with the energy, and that lets me Ultra Ball away the switch. And now I can throw down the Sneasler and draw a little bit with my Bidoof. I have some Nest Balls for next turn. This is going to be a really awkward game to navigate. What I'm kind of thinking of right here is that I can hit into this one. This is going to be the one he's attacking with, so he's going to switch into it next turn anyway. So the switch cart kind of sucks, but I could assume that he's playing a ton of switches. But now that I have that damage on this, I can hopefully knock it out with Cramorant, and then I can boss for my next 2 prizes. I can knock out the Rotom V pretty easily with a Klawf, and once I get around the Ting-Lu, I am able to use my Brute Bonnet's ability, so that's nice. And then at the end of the game, I could use my Crisis Punch to take my last prize. Or if I can just, like, somehow find a turn to hit into this with, like, get it down a new Brute Bonnet and hit into the Tinglu with Klawf. That would help me take my other prize, and then I just have a simple boss KO for game. But I do have the boss in my hand now, which is kind of nice. I just don't have the double turbo yet. And I just looked through my deck, I see that I have all my double turbos in there. I benched the other Brute Bonnet, kind of thinking that if I just hit like double turbo in the tool, I can knock out this Tinglu like right away, and that'll just be a nice thing to do, or a nice like jump ahead in tempo than I had planned. But I could just boss now as well. I don't know, it's kind of a hard choice. And I'm debating what to get rid of here. And I just get rid of their forest. I'm just looking to thin my hand down. And I whiff the tool. So I can either boss or Iono. And I do Iono, and I whiff the tool again, which really sucks. I would love to have hit into or knock this Tinglu out. They wouldn't have a backup attacker ready to go, so that would have been really nice. I almost bring up the Mew, but I can't knock the Mew out. I'd be 1 damage counter short. That would be a fatal mistake. But at least I do get bailed out by the counter catcher. I thought I had pretty good odds to hit the tool with the Town Store and the 3 other tools in my deck, so I went for it. It kind of sucks because now I have this Brute Bonnet down ready to be damaged preemptively, so I really never got to use it. And one of the things you want to do with Tinglu with a deck like this is save and bench your Pokemon as you need to use them, just so that they don't have time to put damage counters on them. And now he's basically going to be able to put damage counters on all my Pokemon, which sucks, because he's got the Alakazam, he's got the Heavy Baton, and I'm immediately look at the Lost Zone to see how many Lost Vacuums and stuff I'm down. I think I'm only down 1 at this point, which is kind of nice. And he's got the 1 prize Tinglu that he could throw into play, but then that also lets me use my abilities, so I don't know how great that is. And now he has shut off all of my meaningful abilities, which sucks. I almost promote the Sneasler. I do promote the Sneasler. Oh, I'm thinking that I can retreat that one pretty easily into a Cram for the knockout. I would like to hit Switch though, because saving that DT would be nice, so I don't know, maybe I should just grab the Lost Vacuum here and retreat into the Cram and knock it out. Guess I was looking for Switch, maybe I can't. I'm thinking that I can't afford to waste a DT to retreat. And I do have like quite a few turns to win this game. I'm not sure about that. I think I probably should have grabbed the Lost Vacuum, vacuumed away the Heavy Baton, and then retreated into my Cramorant and knocked out the Tinglu with Cram. That definitely would have been a better play, because now I need to like get them to knock out one of these Brute Bonnets and then recycle it and get it back. And now I just have 3 ancient energy capsules in my hand, which sucks. So I definitely made a few mistakes this game. I didn't realize exactly how many times I had messed up. And they're just going to switch card again, heal a little more damage, and knock out my guy. And this is just kind of not looking too great for me. But I top decked the Super Rod, which is, it's kind of lucky. I think I was pretty close to the end of my deck, to the point where I was almost guaranteed to Super Rod or something at that point, because I'd been Iono'd. There's so many cards on the bottom and none of them were Super Rod. But either way, get lucky enough to top deck the Super Rod right there, and now I just need to get the boss counter catcher, boss crisis punch, or crisis punch counter catcher, or something like that, to win the game. And I need a Cramorant, so I need like quite a bit to win the game here. But I did keep my Town Store around, so you know, there's that. And now I do get the boss, which is pretty lucky. So I can Artazon for Cram, I can Nest Ball for another Cram and Boss, and then try to Bibarel into it. Or Bibarel into the Crisis Punch. I can play down like almost every single card out of my hand except for one. So I'm going to be seeing a good portion of my deck. So it's like 40% that I hit it, 35% that I hit it. These are not great odds. I definitely didn't play that great this game, but sometimes you need a little luck to win, and I hit the Crisis Punch. We end up taking the dub. Watching that back, I'm not very happy with my play there, but we do win that game. So after getting kind of lucky in that last game, we get a lucky matchup this game with this is Rotom. I don't know, this person's almost Arceus tier, so I guess they're playing Rotom to get to Arceus, which is kind of cool. And I have a pretty lackluster start, but I can just Ultra Ball away a couple supporters, which sucks, but that's what's in my hand. Get down to Bidoof. And I do have all my energy. That's one like kind of scary part about this deck, is you're relying on just a 4 of energy that you have to just draw into. There's no way to search it out or anything. So that's kind of stressful, like once you're down. But with the Colress, you kind of thin your deck out quickly, but I don't know, it's still either way, you got to draw into a low count of energy, which can be rough. That's why I found every game I played with this, the Crisis Punch was super clutch to win the game. It either won or lost me the game, like hitting it I won, missing it I lost. And they do get down a Miraidon to probably just get out more of their guys. Yep, they get down another Miraidon. They're just gonna do the old double Miraidon, fill your board with stuff. So they get their free retreater, and they have one of each artwork of Rotom, which is kind of funny. But their deck is very thinned out to try and hit the generator. And one of the coolest parts about this Rotom deck is at the end of any turn they can just draw 3. Because like they're guaranteed to have Rotoms in play basically. And they retreat and attach a Turbo Energize to the bench because they're able to get a turn 1 knockout, which you hate to see that. That's funny, that's 2 decks on the ranked ladder that are using Turbo Energize to get powered up. But they do get the turn 1 knockout. It's kind of unfortunate, I wasn't really planning for that, so now I'm just down a double turbo right away. It sucks to have that happen. I do get lucky enough to hit the next double turbo, but I have no way to get out of the active. So I'm just going to have to take this turn kind of to set up a little bit more. I should have just kept the Artazon. I don't know why I didn't grab it. I guess I was like getting super greedy there and hoping to hit like another Nest Ball or a Switch. No, I don't know what I was trying to hit. Out to a Bibarel, I guess, because my hand's dead. So that kind of makes sense. My hand was dead. I needed to hit Bibarel to like start drawing anything. Alright, that's not as bad as I thought. I was gonna say, wow, I played like embarrassingly bad these 2 games. The first game I played really bad. This game I probably play bad too, but since it's 1 prize versus 2 prize deck and we can one-shot them, they can get down to 3 prizes and we can just still come back and win the game. So there's not too much pressure here to do very much. Like I have 2 more turns more than likely to get an attack off, but they just instant charge. This is an interesting choice by them. They're giving me extra time, but I think that they're thinking that they're getting their board more set up. They only have a couple tools in the discard pile now. They might have not even been able to knock out my Sneasler actually, because they only had 2 tools in the discard now that I think about it. So maybe that's what they're thinking, but that's unfortunate that they couldn't put more pressure on, because this is like not a good matchup for them. Just inherently with it being a 1 prize deck that can one-shot them, that's always going to be rough for any multi-prize deck. And they just attach their tool and use the instant charge again, so now next turn they will have enough cards, or enough tools in the discard to knock me out for sure. And I'm still not drawing anything, so I shouldn't get Iono'd. And I leave those like questions on. I don't know, I'm just always a little nervous about misclicking and passing when I don't mean to or something like that, which is kind of stupid, but I find it's kind of nice to have them on. It's like an extra reminder to think about stuff. which maybe isn't good. I should just get used to either passing or not, because that's how real life is. And I am a little more focused on, or I like playing in real life more than online. What did they just Ultra Ball away? That's interesting. Alright, so they have their attackers set up for the game. Now they just need to get their tools in the discard pile, which can definitely be the rougher part of this deck, I think. But the TMs are like nice to add to that, because they do just discard themselves. And they are forced to get rid of 4 tools, or 3 tools that turn. I wonder how many tools they play, because they might not have like barely enough tools to even like knock out 6 Pokemon of a 1 prize deck like this. But we do get lucky and top deck another Nest Ball, so I can just knock them out and at least take some amount of prizes. I did have one more turn to draw something before we just basically lose and hit a Bibarel off of the prizes, which is very nice. Definitely needed that, because I don't know, the more I'm like watching this deck, or the more I like played against this deck, I don't think they're playing any Iono. I know that there was a person doing good with it in Limitless tournaments, and I don't think they were playing Iono either. I think they weren't playing very many draw supporters at all. I can't quite remember though, and I couldn't refine the list. But either way, they do just take a knockout. We top deck Ultra Ball. It's kind of nice. I can just like completely thin my hand down. We Trekking Shoes into a switch, so I can Ultra Ball and switch into the active and try to take another knockout this turn. I do have to get rid of Lost Vacuum and Boss. That's fine. They're probably going to have the guy in the active that I want to knock out anyway. It would have been nice to be able to Ultra Ball for another Bibarel there, but I needed to play the switch to get all the cards out of my hand. And I do decide to Colress before drawing with Bibarel there, because I have the Ultra Ball in my hand, so I can just thin my hand down more. And I hit Trekking Shoes off of it. I'm debating between the switch and the Cram, because I do plan to take my last knockout with the Crisis Punch, as with most matchups. And I think I'm basically forced to Ultra Ball away the Lost Vacuum and the Boss again. Hopefully I don't need those cards. I do have Prime Catcher and no, I already used the Counter Catcher. But now I could draw 3 and luckily hit it. There's not that much many cards left in the deck at this point, so I did have decent odds to hit the DT. I super odd 1 Pokemon back in the deck, because I only need 1 more Klawf at most to win. More than likely I'm going to win with the Cramorant, so I probably don't even need the Klawf. I put it back in just in case. That is a way that I could win next turn. Actually, I might be down. I think I'm down all 3 switches. Yes, I am. So I cannot win with the Klawf next turn, because I have no way to get it into the active. But it is just an extra line of defense, I guess, or offense. And they're going to knock me out here. I can just promote Cram and hit them for 110, and then Crisis Punch them next turn. I have the only thing that I'm worried about here is if they play an Iono, but I've seen no sign of it yet. And if they played Iono, they would almost certainly have it here and they would use it. I don't know what that they played the Grant. That was I was so confused. That was a really weird animation for that. It didn't get show me the Grant at all. It just discarded cards and then put a card from the discard pile into their hand. So now the question here is, do I play the Colress? And I do, because I want to get the most cards out of my deck as possible. This is kind of an awkward decision. I 100% want to keep the Town Store in my deck. And it's just between Pokégear, Artazon, and Booster Capsule. I'm not too sure what's correct. I can get the Artazon and thin another card out of my deck, because I have another Booster Capsule in my hand, so I should never need that last one there. And I plan to win with Crisis Punch, so I really don't need any more of those. Oh, I do have the Rescue Board, so there is a chance that I can win this game this turn, but it's just, do I want to go all out to risk hitting Double Turbo and Rescue Board? I don't think I do. I'm just counting my hand right here to see how many cards I can play out of it. and if it's like possible for me to draw my whole deck. I don't really know that it is, so I just poison and hit with Cram. Because, like I said, I'm pretty sure they would have Iono'd me last turn if they played it. So I don't think they do. That is pretty lucky for us. So I don't know, we have 2 Bibarels though, so it really doesn't matter. And they Prime Catcher the Brute Bonnet, which is smart. They think that that's like the way that I'm going to win the game. They play Grant, that's just like a card because it lets you put it back in your hand from the discard if you discard 2 cards, so they just use it to discard tools out of their hand. And little do they know, I can just promote my Cram and use Crisis Punch. It's so I think this Crisis Punch card is so cool, so I'm glad that I finally got to play a deck that really used it to its full potential. Because with these weird decks, I always play some games on the casual ladder just to get a feel for the deck and see if it's even like good enough to win games, or to see like how the person that was playing it won their games. And then I move on to the ranked ladder for recording videos. So basically every game that I won, I got to use Crisis Punch. So that was pretty cool. And I did win most of the games that I played with this deck, so it was definitely better than I thought it would be. And yeah, I don't know. Hope you enjoyed, and take care.